by the Montana Television Network. Montana This Morning continues on Montana's News Leader.
Without a warning, tons of concrete crushed people in their vehicles as a bridge collapses in Florida. I'm Hannah with more on what led up to the disaster.
And some local workers have to know how to survive a night on the mountain in a blizzard. Who they are and why they need to know these skills, that's all coming up.
Good morning, Southwest Montana. Just ahead of 6:30 here on this Friday. Chet Lim and Missy O'Malley with you. Our top story, 6 people killed, several others injured after a pedestrian bridge collapsed near a campus of Florida International University in Sweetwater, Florida.
Now, rescue workers are still busy combing through the rubble looking for survivors. Investigators are looking into whether the accelerated construction method used to get the bridge done in place quickly may have played a role. CBS's Hannah has our latest.
Search and rescue crews worked through the night at the pedestrian bridge that collapsed yesterday on a busy highway near Miami. They're using dogs, sensitive listening devices, and are even drilling holes in some spots for special fiber optic cameras to see beneath the rubble.
We're going to continue to search this pile until we're sure that there's no other survivors.
The partially built 950-ton bridge had been assembled by the side of the highway and moved into place just this past Saturday. At a cost of $14.2 million, it stretched almost 200 feet to connect Florida International University with the city of Sweetwater. Susie Bermudez says she was just about to cross under the bridge when it collapsed.
The bridge was fine. I was sitting in front of it waiting for the light to change, and I saw that it smashed a bunch of cars, and there can't be anybody alive there.
Police say 8 cars were trapped underneath. CBS News has learned 2 of the firms that built the bridge have been accused of unsafe practices.
There will clearly be an investigation to find out exactly what happened and why this happened, and we will hold anybody accountable if anybody's done anything wrong.
Ironically, the bridge was built to make the area safer after a student was killed last year crossing that street. It was due to open to foot traffic next year. Hannah, CBS News.
The National Transportation Safety Board says it is launching an investigation and sending specialists to help families affected by this tragedy. Terrible news out of Florida.
Terrifying stuff there.
Really
Matt, 6:31 here as we head into St. Patrick's Day weekend. Not a bad start here on our Friday.
Yeah.
But.
There's a but. There always is.
Yeah.
A little bit of fog in the morning. Temperatures today actually pretty mild, pretty quiet. It's as you move into the weekend that we see another little batch of moisture heading our direction. Early morning temperatures, not bad. We're talking 20s and 30s for most of us. Again, we do have some patchy fog, a few passing clouds out there. Temperature-wise, not bad. Mid, maybe upper 30s today. We'll see some sunshine at times. We'll probably see a decent amount of cloud cover. Butte right now, the roads are wet. Temperature right below the freezing mark, so there could be some icy spots out there as you're driving. We're, of course, going to talk more in depth about your forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Matt. 6:32 here on your Friday. As we were just mentioning a moment ago, avalanche numbers are higher than normal so far this year, and so are avalanche-related deaths. 4 deaths and 47 avalanche incidents have been reported since the beginning of October by the Gallatin National Forest Avalanche Center. These numbers are well above average, but avalanche accidents have decreased lately.
As conditions warm up, if we just get a little bit of free-moving water in the surface, so the snow surface starts to soften up, becomes damp, that weakens just the surface of the snow, and that'll just kind of start to slough off. It won't actually collapse and propagate in these large slab avalanches. So unless we get a big storm, and then we can be dealing with some dry snow avalanches that can form wind slabs or storm slabs.
Now, the Gallatin National Forest Avalanche Center says the best way to avoid avalanches in the springtime is to get an early start and finish when you get back into the backcountry.
Well, here's a question for you. Would you be able to survive a night alone on top of a Montana mountain in a March snowstorm? It's a real concern for people who hike up the slopes to measure the snowpack in the spring. Carson Vickroy shows us how they learn to survive in the worst of conditions.
Stuff happens. I mean, the situation is that the weather can change, people can get injured, snowmobiles can break down.
Dozens of snow surveyors from several different agencies gathered in West Yellowstone to learn how to survive if bad stuff happens to them when they are high on a mountain. It's part of a snow school where the students learn about the science of snow sampling and a lot more.
About sampling techniques. We want to make sure that we collect the information, the data is collected consistently across the western U.S. And so we talk about how to sample the snowpack. But it's also about worrying about our biggest resource, which is our people. And so in that area, we want to make sure that we have a safe program. So we teach folks snow survival, we teach them wilderness first aid, we teach them avalanche detection and awareness.
One of those survival techniques is building a snow cave to keep someone warm, where an overnight stay in the wilderness might be required.
What we'll do is bring them out here and they'll actually dig a snow cave. And so if something were to happen where you're getting close to sunset, your snowmobile is broken down, or you can't get out, we want to make sure that they can actually bivouac. They can actually dig a snow cave and make it through the night, or even a couple of nights, with the supplies they have with them.
Many of these snow observation sites are often several miles into the unpredictable wilderness, where learning these survival techniques could mean the difference between life and death out here.
The biggest thing with the students to understand is to be prepared. And so if you're prepared for a situation, then that situation doesn't become dangerous.
In West Yellowstone, Carson Vickroy, MTN News.
Now, Carson tells us the snow school has been an ongoing program since the 1930s, and it's been used to train snow surveyors, scientists across western United States.
And switching gears to the western part of the state, the University of Montana Police Department is looking for more information about an assault that occurred Wednesday in a campus bathroom. But they're not launching a formal investigation at this time. Police are not investigating because the assault was reported by a third party and not the victim. The report claims that a male student was assaulted by another male student in a liberal arts building bathroom. Officials say police have not yet had contact with the victim. The report came to the UMPD from the Title IX office on Wednesday afternoon. Because it was a Clery Act crime, they are required to alert the campus if they think there could be an ongoing threat. Officials say police are aware of the incident and they are seeking more information at this time. Now, the Title IX office is investigating because the details of the incident indicate that the assault was a hate or a bias crime. You can anonymously and confidentially report to the UMPD by calling 243-6131.
Local court news, a 25-year-old Butte man.
And a 25-year-old Butte man faces felony charges for having sexual contact with a 13-year-old girl. Shane Murphy is accused of having sexual contact with the girl on March 2nd and again on March 7th, offering the child something of value in exchange for sex. He's charged with sexual intercourse without consent. He remains jailed on a $100,000 bond.
Now it's my turn. With St. Patrick's Day falling on a Saturday, Butte Police will be mustering its forces to try to keep order over the weekend. Police expect larger crowds of revelers for St. Patrick's Day Saturday. We'll have about 26 officers patrolling the uptown throughout the evening and into early Sunday morning.
We're expecting assistance of the Montana Highway Patrol. I know they're bringing in their traffic enforcement shifts in to help us patrol the outlying areas. They also will have their regular officers up, plus they're bringing in a few more to help augment our walking patrols.
Now, Butte Police will also block motorized traffic to some streets in the uptown area due to the expected large crowds. Butte Police in Butte are hoping people behave themselves over St. Patrick's Day celebration this weekend because the jail there already overcrowded. As of Thursday, there were 97 inmates in the Butte Silverbow Detention Center. The facility designed to hold 72 inmates. St. Patrick's Day celebrations in Butte tend to involve more arrests, but police say they'll probably issue citations for minor offenses and only arrest people for those most serious offenses.
If they're doing something that led them to be arrested, we'll make room for them over there, and it'll be hectic at least until they appear before a judge and make some arrangements to either release them or transfer them to some other facility, depending on the severity of the crime.
Sheriff added he will be moving at least 5 departments of correction inmates from the Butte jail before this weekend, so they'll have a little more room that way.
He said it. We'll go ahead and make room if they deserve to be in there. So
the food is good, the facility is warm, and it's not a place you want to spend St. Patrick's Day weekend. That's simple.
Yeah, how would you know, Chet? Yeah, Mr. St. Patrick. Careful out there, Chet. You must stay with us. Coming up after a quick break, we introduce you to a woman who's been in the hairstyling world for more than 8 decades.
That's a lot of hair. She's not ready to hang up her clippers yet either. But first, here's Noah O'Donnell with a look at what's coming up at 7 on CBS This Morning.
Good morning, and ahead here on CBS This Morning, we're in Florida with the investigation into a deadly bridge collapse and why U.S. ranchers are fighting to protect the word meat. We'll see you right at 7.